Welcome to all, and welcome back with another amazing episode of the Future Jobs Podcast Show. I'm your host Fahad Jobswala, and I'm student and interview captain at Enhanced School Online Academy. So, turning on today is Chris Abdey. Chris Abdey is a seasoned procrastination coach based in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, with over 20 years of experience across various industries. He specializes in helping entrepreneurs, creatives, and professionals overcome procrastination, burnout, and overwhelm. As the founder of Procrastination Station, Chris offers personalized coaching that combines emotional awareness, practical strategies, and ongoing support to transform clients' productivity and well-being. Chris' coaching philosophy is rooted in positive psychology, mindfulness, and cognitive behavioral techniques. He emphasizes a compassionate, non-judgmental approach to help clients understand their patterns and develop actionable plans that align with their values and goals. In addition to one-on-one coaching, Chris hosts the podcast Procrastinators Hits Up, where he explores the psychology of procrastination, motivation, and productivity through candid conversations with guests. But when I didn't started the podcast live, he just mentioned that he is now moving away from this podcast and he is now doing his coaching as he is procrastination coach. So, hi Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey there, thanks for having me.
It's an honor for me to conduct this podcast with you, and thank you so much for giving me a precious and uh, valuable time for this. So, how have you been?
I've been well. How have you been?
I've been fantastic. Thanks for asking. So, Chris, what is your story?
Well, my story is really that for many years, you mentioned I have over 20 years of experience, and really during that whole time, I've been coaching in one way or another, just without the title, mainly through everything from relationships, stress, burnout, overwhelm, addictions. Um, One of the things that really got me into the procrastination side of coaching, though, and really helping people as doing what I do is I had my own story with procrastination where it actually worked for me until it didn't, right? And so the story is that when I was in high school and I was finishing, I was in the International Baccalaureate program, and so we had 2 years to do 12 art projects. And guess who did all 12 art projects in the span of about 6 hours the day before they were publicly, it was a public art show as our final exam. And so that night before, I was running in the garage, I was pulling out spray cans, I was getting, cans, bottles, caution tape, styrofoam, toilet paper, anything I could get my hands on that I could use to make some form of art. Art. And so what really happened was the proctor for the exam came from another school, so he didn't know me. So I think that really, that really saved me. And so he just came into the room. He was looking at everybody's art. He comes over to my display, and he just starts explaining it. And so I just let him do it. So he was explaining, "Oh wow, I really love this, and I really like how you use these materials." And then he hit one key phrase that probably really saved my bacon for the entire day. Was said it's very reminiscent of pathetic art. And so I sat there for a second thinking, pathetic art, pathetic art, pathetic art. And so I came up with, you're right. It is reminiscent of pathetic art because, in today's society, we're all striving for perfection. And so does that not make perfection the new mediocrity? And that one sentence got me, um, the same grade as a classmate who had spent 2 years busting his hump, but working really hard. Um, and he got support from stained glass artists and other people as well. And so when I left high school, that gave me kind of a mini god complex in that, it was either, oh, I can come up with something at the last minute, or if I leave it long enough, it'll get done somehow, right? And so I really focused on procrastination as that because I know, that it can cause stress, and I know what it leads to.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for keep going, with our listeners. And that was the unexpected technical issue. So sorry for that. So, Chris, I just heard a little bit about your story, but it's fantastic. And could you tell us more about procrastination coaching? What is procrastination coaching for those who are unfamiliar with this?
Oh, for sure. So procrastination is really just putting something off that you feel like you really shouldn't be putting off, right? So we tend to procrastinate on things we don't like. We tend to procrastinate on things like homework or things that are hard. So there are five main types of procrastination, and the trick is to really know which of those five groups you fall into in order to really get past it and be able to move forward rather than be stuck on something you have to do. So the five main kinds of procrastination are, we have the crisis maker. The crisis maker is a pretty popular one. We see this all the time in school. It's not urgent unless it's urgent. So therefore, my project's not due, like in my story, my project's not due until this day. And so I'll just leave it until it's actually due, right? So it needs that sort of deadline, that hard deadline, that crunch of time in order to really get that spike of adrenaline and to move things forward. The second kind of group of procrastinators we have are so we have the worriers, all right, and the worriers are the ones that make up excuses for everything, right? And it's not always the same way you think. My example of the worriers, where it's convenient, is if I don't want to cut the grass, right? So it's Saturday morning, I don't want to cut the grass. I have somebody who cuts my grass. So I'm just using this as an example. But I might go out to the garage and say, "Oh, well, what if the lawnmower doesn't work?" Oh, it works. It always works. I'm prepared, right? Or what if it rains? Bright sunny day, no clouds around at all. What if it rains, right? Um, or what if my neighbors don't like the noise, right? So I can come up with any sort of excuse I can think of it as to worry about to not actually do something that I should be doing or I want to get done. The next one we have there is the dreamers. I like the dreamers because the dreamers are the ones with big visions. They're your artists, your creatives, maybe web designers, maybe um, business owners. They like to create and they like to build. They have visions, right? And I fall into this category myself. And oftentimes, what it is we find the act of imagining it so gratifying that when we actually go to do it, we look at it and we're like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm okay. I don't want to do that." And I'm okay just picturing it. The next one after that is one of the biggest ones too, the perfectionist, right? So the perfectionist says that I'm not gonna give it to you until it's done 100%, right? So whether this be a picture, a book, piece of work, website, I mean, I'm sure everybody's had that feeling at one point or another where, oh, I made a logo for my business and oh, it's no, not quite done. I'll change the blue or I'll edit the letter or I'll add a picture, right? And it just wants to be, we want everything to be perfect, right? So that's again rooted in fear of some sort of judgment or failure or things like that. The last type of procrastination is just what we call the defier, which really is the easiest one to get over. So I kind of like it, and most people don't have an issue with this one. And that is just that we don't like being told what to do. So when somebody says you have to do something, we immediately get this feeling in our body, and we say, "No, wait, no, I don't necessarily feel like I want to do that." I mean, everybody feels that, especially in school. Do your homework or do your chores or do whatever, right? And the trick is to really understand that you have the power and you need to take back your power. So everything in life is a choice, right? There's literally two things in this life that are not a choice. You can't really choose to be born, and you can't really choose, you know, to leave, at the end, right? So everything else in between is a choice. It's all about consequences and things, right? And I'll give you a real example. So after a long day of work, I'll come home and I sat down on the couch. I was going to watch my favorite TV show. And all of a sudden, my wife screams from the other side of the house, "Hey, you help me with the dishes. You have to help me with the dishes." And I'm sitting there thinking, "Wait, I have to? I have to? I have to? No, I don't. But I choose to do the dishes because I know that it's going to help my wife, and I know that it's going to make her life easier, and I know that I'll be able to get back to watching my TV show as soon as I'm done. Plus, as an added bonus, I won't have to sleep on that couch at night because she's mad at me after. So just by simply finding the reason behind you doing something will get rid of that form of procrastination.
Okay, I just completely got it. It's a kind of condition, right, where we search for perfectionism in everything, in every task. So you, as a coach, you try to fix that condition in a certain way. Is that correct?
That is correct, but I would not say the word fix because you're not broken. Okay. Whatever behavior that you have, whatever it is that you're doing, procrastination or any other behavior, I mean, it helps you or it serves you on some level. So it's programming that you got when you were normally when you were really really young. You got this programming on how to handle certain situations, right? Normally before the age of 12, and programming can be changed, right? And so it's not that you're broken and need to be fixed, right? It's just that you need to be reprogrammed a little bit. Think of it like a computer. You have a program on your computer that isn't helping you anymore, so you get rid of it and you get a new program.
Wonderful. So, how do you see the nature of procrastination evolving as work becomes increasingly digital and decentralized?
Oh, okay, yeah. So this is a big one. Um, I actually see procrastination increasing a lot, quite a lot, and it's for many different reasons. When we're talking about the workplace, we have so many distractions, right? This damn thing, right? The phone, it's right next to us, and every 30 seconds it goes ding, 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 ding. You get notifications on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Steam, or YouTube. There's so many, right? So it's very easy to get lost in that and to get distracted because honestly, what's on the phone is a lot more interesting to us sometimes than what we're working on at the moment, right? Um, and the other thing that's happening a lot is with procrastination, especially in younger persons who are in university and they're trying to figure out what to do with their careers. AI is a big concern for them, especially in creative writing, journalism, and coding or web design classes. Because I have quite a few people I'm talking to right now where they're halfway through and ChatGPT is going to be doing their job, or they feel like ChatGPT is going to be doing their job. So there's a lot of hesitation in that sense, and to say they procrastinate because, well, what's the point of me finishing this course if I'm never going to use it, sort of thing, right? I don't think that that's true, by the way, but it is a very valid sort of trend in terms of procrastination. Is people are increasingly distracted and they're increasingly unsure of where to go or what to do in order to ensure that they have a place in the new, well, I guess the new world economy, if you want to call it
Exactly, exactly. and things are getting changed, and we have to change ourselves as well, by uh, you know the speed of world, by the era, but sometimes it happens that we stop at a certain point, and the world is getting changed and changed, so we have to change ourselves as well. So Chris, could you tell me how long have you been doing this procrastination coaching, and how many challenges have you faced here?
Oof. That's that's a good question. Um, I've been coaching in one manner or of speaking for 20 years, but as an actual procrastination coach, focusing just on that, it's only been about 4 years with the title. Um, it's just a label. And in terms of challenges, yeah, oh yeah, there's tons of challenges, right? Now, I did want to clarify. Did you mean challenges for people I work with, or challenges for like myself in the business?
Yeah, both. Like, have you ever had some ridiculous, patients or whatever, and in your career as well? And the main part, what did you learn from your challenges?
Mm,
As I usually ask.
gotcha. So yeah, my main challenges have been I am not very aligned with the way that social media works. I'm a procrastination coach, right? So I have to be, for an online business, you have to be on social media. You have to be, right? There's that have to again. Have to be on social media, to, promote yourself, give content, and all these other things. But I'm not aligned with that at all. Because these social platforms are designed to keep you distracted. They're designed to keep you engaged as long as possible and not being productive. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's they're designed for that, right? So I one of my biggest challenges is kind of coming to terms with that because it's a necessary evil for the short term. Um, and that's just the lesson is that sometimes, in order to get to where we need to go, we need to do things that sometimes we aren't necessarily aligned with, but it's the way that it's just something we need to do, right? Um, in terms of procrastination as a whole, one of the biggest challenges for everybody, okay, and I mean everybody. I have this one too still is self care. Okay, so and almost every client has this issue. Almost everybody I talk to has this issue. You're studying or you're working or you're doing all these activities. Sure you're going from 8 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday. Some people go 7 days a week, but you're not doing anything to recharge your own batteries, right? You can't fill from an empty cup. So I guess the biggest form of procrastination and the most sort of damaging one is the procrastination that most of us have on ourselves when it comes to taking care of ourselves. Doing things that recharge our batteries, right? Whether that be spiritually, socially, intellectually, or emotionally, right? And what does that look like? Well, looks like yesterday. Yesterday, I put a bunch of stuff on my calendar for some reason, a bunch of video edits I was going to do, and I said, why? Why am I doing that? And so I just spent yesterday pretty much playing video games for 6 hours. And it's the first time I've done that in like a month and a half or 2 months, right? So some people might look at that and say it's lazy. No, it's what it's doing is it's allowing me to decompress and give my best when I show up on Monday, right? So definitely, I think that is one of the most biggest challenges that most people face, and just to learn from it is to take care of yourself. Do those things. Take minutes to read a chapter of a book or watch your favorite TV show. Whatever. Um, the caveat to that is I would recommend to not doom scroll, because it often feels you leaves you feeling more drained than energized after an end. Personal experience from that one too.
Not to scroll through social media, right?
Correct.
Exactly, because it's my own personal experience. When we do that, we don't want to leave our phone or social media because it just attracts you. And when we scroll down, we see more engaging videos, we see more engaging stuff, and it really gets you distracted. You're right, social media and all the apps whatever are included in social media apps, they are designed in a certain way that they distracts you. They doesn't allow you to do your work and to keep your focus on your goal, on your success goal. So whenever we use it, we even don't realize it, but we are moving away from our success goal. So, Chris, how does one's environment influence their propensity to procrastinate, and how can this be optimized?
Right. So this is a little bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because there's different styles of organization. Now, most of the time, the majority of people fall into either the butterfly mode of organization, or they fall into the ladybug version of organization. Now, if you happen to be a butterfly, okay, and a butterfly is a person who likes to have everything out on their desk, or everything within easy access reach for what they need. So that's a butterfly. So it can look very cluttered. It can look very disorganized, and not a lot of space. Whereas a ladybug is a little bit different. So this kind of organization style, they'll actually store things in cupboards. They won't have anything on their desk that they're not immediately using. They'll have everything in drawers or closets or somewhere out of sight while while they're working. Now, either way, whether you're a butterfly or you're a ladybug in terms of your organizational style, and there are other ones too, but most people fall into one of those two. So one of the things that you'll want to do is keep keep the amount of things on your desk to a minimum, because those things all take your attention, right? Now I know that, and I have this myself. Behind my computer here, you can't see it, but I've got some affirmation type stuff. I've got pens. I've got, and the other thing I have is a Father's Day card from my daughter, actually, right? And while those are good, we do need to understand that they can be motivational factors, but they can also be distraction factors, right? So, if I need motivation sometimes, if I'm slogging away at something and it's not fun, like, well, why am I doing this? Oh, and then, I see that my daughter's card, I remember, oh, right, I am working for them basically, right? Um, so, really, you want to ensure that your workspace is as clean as possible, that as free of distractions as possible, right? And also to have everything you need immediately available, but nothing that you might not need there. Because when you have a desk that's full of items and objects, right? Pens, papers, cell phone, every time you see it, even peripherally, your brain is asking, "Oh, do I need to use that? What am I using that for? Am I using that now?" Even though you don't consciously think it, in your subconscious, it's all going right. So it's kind of like when you have too many tabs open on Chrome or on a browser. It's still running in the background, it's still there. So by simply having it as clean as possible, you can limit your focus to what you actually need to do. Um, The next thing about setting up your environment is the old saying, right? It's an old saying where time has a memory, but places have an energy. So if you're working from home, especially, you'll want to, as much as possible, have a separate area where you work. Generally, not your bedroom because your bedroom is where you sleep. So therefore, it's not impossible, but it'll be harder for you to start a routine there to actually work because your body is used to going in there and going to sleep. So it's different like that, right? And you'll want to so limit distractions, make sure there's enough light, make sure that the temperature is not too hot or not too cold, and have some things that you like too. So some people like to have light music in the background, but instrumental, nothing with lyrics. Okay, so just instrumentals, nothing with lyrics, and probably nothing that um, you would already know you would have a song to. Just so it's just something to keep your brain sort of focused on something while you're working, like that.
Nice tips, nice tips. Whenever we have some irrelevant things, whether it's virtually, whether it's practically, it's just a source to distract you. Uh, Whether you have took all these things as a motivational thing, or it's just things that you like, that you would like to do, or would you like to have. But as you just mentioned, that they are the source to distract you. And whenever you, like, as you just mentioned about the even pans, you have pans on your table, but you see that you have pans, and do I need to use it, and all that. Even we are seeing those things, and it's just enough to distract you. And another thing, lyrics, music with lyrics are also, usually people do, they especially freelancers, uh, they have a special tab where they have open the music with lyrics, so it doesn't work too. It keeps you distracted, but you can use, uh, without lyrics, you can, hear music, instrumental music, and that's fine. So thank you so much, Chris Abdi, for giving me precious time for this amazing podcast and very helpful conversation. I hope my viewers and listeners also liked it. So thank you so much, listeners and viewers, for watching and listening to this podcast. Inshallah, I meet you soon with another amazing podcast with another amazing guest. Till then, stay peace.